Hello there, a very good day to you, and thanks for joining us on yet another interesting and exciting segment of the newspaper review right here on TAF TV. My name is Cyril Aloysius, and joining me on today's newspaper review is one of our very popular faces. By that I mean Mr. Victor. Mr. Victor, you're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
All right, before we go straight to the business of the day, we'll go on a quick break, and when we come back, we'll bring you all of the interesting headlines in today's papers. Do stay with us. We'll be back after the short break.
Hey there! Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Right, you're welcome back from that short break. Mr. Victor, the first paper we shall be looking at for today is The Punch. And amongst the headlines in The Punch, we have Tinubu to meet APC governors as race for running mate begins. That's on page 2. Tinubu to meet APC governors as race for running mate begins. That's on page 2. And on page 17, we have Peter Obi's ex-aide emerges LP factional presidential candidate. Peter Obi's ex-aide emerges Labour Party's fictional presidential candidate. That's on page 17. And on page 4 and 5, we have France-based Nigerian travels to Lagos, leads cyber attacks on 10 banks. Wow. That's on page 4 and 5. And on page 14, we have Owo massacre, death toll hits 40. Akeredolu plans Memorial Park. That's on page 14. And on page 19, we have NNPC to pay 874 billion naira in June as subsidy hits 1.82 trillion naira. That's on page 19. And lastly, on page 9, we have FG shouldn't have set up Nigeria Air. Federal government shouldn't have set up Nigeria Air, according to ex-NAMA boss Inyai. Okay, that's the much we can take in The Punch. Mr. Victor, I don't know which of the headlines interest you.
Okay, I know the Tinubu's victory
Yes.
is all over the newspapers, okay?
Yeah.
But for now, let me not start from the biggest news, okay, the Tinubu news. So let me take it gradually. You mentioned Nigerian Air.
Yes.
That Nigeria is supposed not to have started, gone back to start the...
According to Inhai, he said federal government shouldn't have set up Nigerian Air.
Yes. Okay. Personally, I think it's a waste of money. Yes, we need the brands to be up there, just like Kenyan Air, Ethiopian Air. But go and check very well. It's not just about owning airlines, okay? It's about having a very solid framework. The Nigerian aviation sector is dying, is decaying, and it's not just by airplanes. It's about the policies that we have there. How can you, in a time like this, you book a flight, you go to the airport, and you spend the whole of the day, there is no compensation? Okay, so same thing will also happen when they launch the so-called Nigerian Air. In as much as they even started from the planning was so poor, because even from the logo, I heard that the logo was, there was some copyright issue with the logo. From the logo to the framework itself, the policy plan, all went wrong.
So you feel so you feel this is not the time to...
My brother, Nigeria has bigger issues right now than just the... Please, they should use that money and transfer it to some other important sectors like education, health, and security. They should just leave. Private sector should take care of the airlines, okay? Because beforehand, even when the so-called Nigerian Air was there, the defunct Nigerian Air was there, it wasn't still okay. They should forget about the pride thing because it's about pride now. They like, okay, there is South
Since other
Africa,
nations
there is a
have their own air,
yes,
so we should
my
have our own
brother,
air.
Nigeria never reached. They should calm down on that side. Okay, let me keep that one by the corner. Okay.
But
Okay.
don't you think it's should I say an insult to the face of Nigeria?
Which insult?
That
They should use that money and build refinery. Which one be air? Air for what? They should invest that money in
a nation as big as Nigeria
in railway.
does not have
Peace
an air.
made air. Call
South
them.
Africa has
They
an
are,
air.
forget it.
Kenya has an air.
The private ones that we have, they should manage it. They should bring strong policies and implement on
So
those
you
policies.
feel Nigeria
Enforce
as
on those
big as we
policies.
are, we can't have an air.
I
at the
beg,
moment?
it is not the issue right now, my brother. They should fight hunger first. Use that money and fight hunger.
Okay.
Eh?
Okay.
That's one. Secondly, we were talking about. I got a bit of information with the fraud that was prevented.
Okay. France-based Nigerian travels to Lagos,
Yeah.
leads cyber attacks on 10 banks.
Yes. Okay. So imagine somebody living in France, a Nigerian though. So he was like, man, maybe life was so hard for him, or maybe too greedy to come down to say he wants to make it. So he came back with a plan to hack a particular bank. Then the plan was to hack about 10 banks actually. So he came, had a meeting with a tech guy from a former bank, a tech guy that left a bank, okay? They came together. So the plan was to get an insider infotech guy.
Okay, that will be giving them
that will give them
information,
no, they call it a pathway, okay?
Okay.
So through the server of the bank, create a pathway for them to now hack in, okay? Yeah, it requires some programming, okay. But the crazy thing about this, will I call it crazy? So when you are talking about news like this, you think that it will be around what age? What do you think? About what age do you think this person will be? The normal
30,
average age.
30, early 30s, mid 30s.
But my brother, one of them is 50-something years. So that's to tell you, even our so-called pre-elders, okay? I'll call them pre-elders. They're into fraud.
Wow.
So it's not just about the young students you see doing sometimes I call them the minor fraud. My brother, the major fraud is done by the seniors.
Is there any such thing as a minor fraud? I think fraud
Yeah,
is fraud.
no. What I meant by minor in terms of the remuneration, the monies, some persons, their own fraud is just to get $500 or $200. Are you getting me? We are talking about millions of dollars when you convert the naira. In fact, imagine the person that was in the bank, the third person that they wanted to connect to, which happens to be a banker that is in the IT department of they don't want to call the bank, okay? They promised the guy that if he can create that pathway, just create this pathway for us, okay? And we'll be giving 200 million naira and a visa to leave the country.
Wow.
Man, that is a big, that is
Wow.
It's too tempting. It's too tempting
to resist.
for a banker. It's
200
too
million.
tempting.
Wow.
Yes. So, well, God willing, they were caught and the law should take its course. Okay. Lastly, on Punch, I want to talk about the Labour Party.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Labour Party. Okay, yeah. Peter Obi's ex-aide emerges Labour Party's factional presidential candidate.
So, sad news.
That should be on page 17. Yeah.
Sad news for P2B supporters. Like you can see, the internet is always frenzy when it comes to P2B. There is no day since he left PDP that he has not. In fact, before he left PDP, there is no day that P2B is not trending on Twitter. Okay, so it's sad news because it's now news that there is a faction in Labour Party. Mind you, this is the third faction we are talking about here. Okay, so this particular man, Chief Ezenwoke, okay, happened to be a former political aide to P2B.
Yes. And right now, it's going to be shocking to a lot of Nigerians that, they were expecting Peter Obi to get all the support from Labour Party,
Yeah,
But right now, that particular support has
faction
been
is too
divided.
much. And mind you, before they even joined, as in P2B and Doyin Okumpe being his campaign team, came out to say that they needed time. When he left PDP, mind you, he did not just jump into a party. He came out to say that they needed time to scrutinize the party that will be joined, because some parties, he mentioned that some parties had legal issues.
Okay.
Okay? Unfortunately, they could not scrutinize so deep to find out that labor factional issues is enormous.
Wow.
Unfortunately for them, it happened to be somebody that is close to P2B. And the same man also worked as SA to Obiano, the ex governor of the recent governor that just left.
So
Soludo took over. So
do you see this taking him out of the race for the president, for the office of the president come the election?
it is a big issue.
Okay.
It is a big issue because
so you think it's a booster to
major distraction.
Tinubu and
Yeah,
Atiku?
it has, for me, it is watering down. Not it hasn't, but it is watering down the efficacy, the magnitude that Labour should be giving to
Yes,
these top two.
because right now I think a lot of Nigerians were saying, I mean, looking at Tinubu emerging victorious in the primaries and Atiku, I think a lot of Nigerians have actually channeled their focus now. I think they're now looking at Obi now as the, should I say, the only candidate that is worthy of taking that seat come the
Some
election.
Nigerians.
Some Nigerians. Yeah. But right now, I think I think the whole thing is now beginning to look quite ugly, because Peter Obi is not looking likely to.
So let me not shock you. Let me not shock you. What? He's
I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken.
So let me not shock you, okay? The chief is one year that the factional presidential candidate for Labour Party came out to say that he is on a rescue mission. When I saw that statement, I started laughing. Okay? That this is not about P2B. No, that he wants to transform Nigeria. I say, these politicians. And come to think of it, he is a senior advisor he was a senior advisor in politics and strategy. That's to tell you that this man is a top strategist. At the end of the day, I believe it will end with Naira and Kobo.
Okay.
Let's move
So
on.
let's not stress much on the punch, because we still have the Vanguard to look at. And amongst the headlines in the Vanguard, we have APC, the game play by governors, NWC, that gave Tinubu victory. The gameplay by governors, NWC, that gave Tinubu victory. That's on page 5 of the Vanguard. And on page 19, we have Nigeria spends 896.7 billion naira on debt servicing in Q1 22. That's on page 19. And on page 9, we have Owo killings, market women protest, rain curses on killers. On page 19 as well, we have Access Bank to acquire Kenya's Sadian Bank for 15 billion naira. Access Bank to acquire Kenya's Sadian Bank for 15 billion naira. And on page 19 as well, we have UBA redeems $500 million 5-year Eurobond. UBA redeems $500 million 5-year Eurobond. Okay, that's on page 19. And lastly, in the Vanguard for today, we have narrow-minded politicians, greatest threat to Nigeria's civic space. According to Kuka Center, says narrow-minded politicians, greatest threat to Nigeria's civic space. That's Kuka Center saying on page 8 of the Vanguard. You want more details on those headlines, look at a copy of the Vanguard for yourself, Mr. Victor. I don't know if you have anything to say in the headlines in the Vanguard.
Okay, I think I'll talk about, I just don't want to enter the Tinubu stock right now.
Okay.
Okay, maybe at, the last paper I will discuss that. So let's talk about, if you notice, for the past 1 week, we've been hearing about our banks doing some exploits. Like you mentioned, Access Bank going to Kenya to buy a bank. Okay? Meaning that should also always tell us that Nigerian banks are doing well. okay, when it comes to the business aspect. Yes, when it comes to human capital management, their staff, I know there are a bit labor issues happening there, okay? Staff are complaining about not being remunerated well, not being treated fairly, okay?
But in the angle of business and...
Angle of business, they are doing well. They are doing well. So for them to go out, leaving the shores of Nigeria, go to Kenya, just like what UBA is doing. UBA is an African bank. So Nigerian banks wants to, maybe I don't have the right word, but dominate. Yeah, they're trying to dominate, which is a good one. It's a good competition. They're trying to dominate and have their say in the African monetary sector. Okay, it's a good one. And I believe and I hope that will also create jobs for more Nigerians.
Yeah, we hope
okay.
So.
Yeah, even if they are moving, even if it means them moving staff over there to join the bank, okay. But yeah, somehow, you know, repatriations will come in and it will help the economy. Okay. That aside, you also notice that I wouldn't want to skip on this. Titan Bank. I don't know whether you know about Titan Bank. They are in Port Harcourt.
Titan Bank. Okay. Yeah.
Titan Bank. They are about to complete the acquisition of Union Bank.
Yes, yes.
So, businesses are ongoing, okay? And I pray, I so much love Union Bank, in as much as, yeah, some persons might be against them because of they are not really infotech, okay? And I think their marketing team are not doing so well. Maybe they are trying not to take so much risks in marketing, you know. They are not out there, okay? So, I believe Titan merging with them should, Titan is a new generation bank. I believe it will boost the brand itself because, you know, if you notice, yes, they have loyal customers, but newer persons and the young ones are not, they are not interested with that bank. So I believe Titan will come in with innovative solutions so that it can upgrade the bank with respect to customers. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. Let's take a look at the last paper for today, which is the Daily Sun. And amongst the headlines in Daily Sun, we have presidential election. Presidential election. Tinubu, PDP, open fight. Tinubu, PDP, open fight. That's on page 6. And on page 26, we have INEC solicits support of Air Force for Ekiti, Osun. Governor polls. INEC solicits support of Air Force for Ekiti, Osun. Governor polls. That's on page 26 of Daily Sun. And on page 2, we have UBA redeems $500 million 5-year Eurobond. Okay, that's on page 2 of the Daily Sun. And on page 26 as well, we have Labour reports Nigeria's anti-workers stance against ASU to ILO. That's on page 26. And lastly, in the Daily Sun for today, we have Atiku. PDP governors meet over running mate. And others, that's on page 28 of the Daily Sun. Okay, Mr. Victor, I don't know which of the headlines you want
to talk about. Let me just finally talk about Tinubu, okay? Right. And also, let me just see a way to squeeze it as much as I can. Congratulations to Tinubu and his members and his supporters and his team.
Big congratulations
he really showed that he is a true fighter, okay? Shunning that the power that be did not favor him, mind you. The Senate were more like against him because they had their person. With respect to Ahmed Lawan, happens to be the Senate president. And I think the hems of the party, the top members of the party, were against him because for the fact that Adamu came out, that's the national chairman of the APC, came out to proclaim that Ahmed Lawan is the consensus candidate. That also showed that the top ranks of the party were against him. Good. But he came out victorious.
So him prevailing in spite of all these setbacks and challenges shows that he's a
top man. He's a top man. He's a top fighter, and he's that one that will give that can give Atiku
a good run for his money.
No,
a good fight.
A bloody nose. So yeah, the times are counting. By today, at the end of the day, it's expected that all political parties submit their names of their aspirants. Okay. Yeah, I want to take it easy and easy. Sorry. Okay, let's go into further details. Tinubu has emerged. Amechi being second, and I also need to congratulate Rotimi Amechi for coming second. I did not expect. I never expected it. Okay. Okay, and
No one expected it.
Yemi Osibanjo, he seemed to be the star boy, and the anointed one came third. Woo. Now, let me digress a bit, please. Let me go face the southeastern aspirants.
Okay.
Unfortunately for them, the north and the west show them pepper.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate that they will now start having a rethink that APC is a party for the north and the southwest. Okay? My analysis. Okay, that aside. We'll also notice that the female candidate that Nigerians, at least from the women folks, we are happy that a woman has come out to slug it out with these men. Out of the 23 men, out of the 22 men, out of the 23 candidates, she was the only person slugging out with 22 men, matured men. The youngest was Mr. 47, Bello of Kogi State, who also scored 47. 47 years old Bello scored 47. So, but yeah, unfortunately for Barrister Uju, unfortunately and shameful of her, I'm sorry I need to say shameful of her, she stepped down for Tinubu. And I wonder, could it be that the insinuation that Tinubu himself bought forms for some aspirants that stepped down? Because that's also the game plan some persons are explaining to us.
There were such claims, actually.
Yes. So 7 persons stepped down for Tinubu. Please, the ESC should go and find out.
Why were they stepping down?
Okay.
Why
they came with different interests. That,
why do you think they were stepping down?
What's his name? Amosu came to say, I will have to step down for my senior brother.
Is it that they didn't believe in their competence from the very
Politics. It's politics, my brother. It's politics. Okay, look at Akwa Ibom State, former governor of Akwa Ibom State.
So because of politics, as someone who believes I have what it takes to take this country forward, I would have to step down for a colleague of mine who I know, probably for some reasons I know that this person, I mean, compared to what I have to offer, this person is not up to my level. So because the person is offering me a certain amount, or the person is actually trying to buy me over, I have to, should I say, substitute the... Oh, no, Mr. Victor.
Politics is a game of interest. Keep morals aside. So, former governor of Abia...
So how do we now intend? How do we intend to go forward as a nation if we keep keeping morals aside in politics? Fine. Politics is a game of interest, no doubt. But it should be blended with morals as well, because these morals will actually lead us to do what's right. Don't you think so?
Sorry, my brother, it's a game of interest first, before any other thing. So, like I was saying, Akpabio, former governor of Akwa Ibom State, stepped down. In fact, in his own, he made a caricature as far as I'm concerned, for him to say that he could have won these primaries, but he just needed to step aside for Tinubu. Jokes. Okay. Lastly, let me end here because we spent so much time. If you notice, Nigeria is about to make history with respect to picking up a new president. Okay? Let me go back history, please. In just 2 minutes, I'll round this up. If you go down to history, you find that in 1999, since 1999 till date, 2 professions have been president. One, you either have to be an ex-military or a teacher. Okay? It's been shuffled around 2 professions.
Okay.
Okay, let me, please, a minute. Olusegun Obasanjo, ex-military.
Okay.
He handed over to Yaradua, teacher. Yaradua handed over to Goodluck Jonathan, teacher.
Okay.
Goodluck Jonathan handed over to Buhari, ex-military. So this time around, is between a technocrat who we should tag Tinubu a technocrat before he entered into politics. He was a technocrat. He worked with an oil firm, okay? Then we have, well, I'll just mention 3 candidates. We have Tinubu, technocrat. We have P2B, a trader. We have Atiku, a former public servant, because he worked with the customs, turned businessman. So it will be a new era for Nigeria, okay? And if you also check, Nigeria is divided between ethnic lines. So right now, the North have their candidates in person of Atiku. The Southwest or the Yorubas have their own, which is Tinubu. The Igbos, in quotes, his own has a question mark because he's having issues with his party, Obi. So, if everybody is going to vote on ethnic lines, Atiku carries the day because they have the numbers. Thank you, sir. There's a lot to talk about.
Mr. Victor, before I call it a day, I don't know, what do you have to say concerning the view, or should I say the talks of some Nigerians concerning the health of Tinubu? Because I think there are a lot of persons who are saying that he doesn't look healthy, and they don't think that health-wise he will be able to stand the heat that is in the presidential seat should he emerge
the jobs
of the country. So what do you have to say concerning that?
Okay, let me go with what happened.
Because there were some scenarios even during the primaries.
Yeah, where his hand were shaking, his leg were shaking, he couldn't walk.
Shaking, you know, even I think that there was a point when he was trying to hold up the flag and he needed some support to holding up the flag. And someone was like, a friend of mine was like, he can't even raise up the flag alone. So what do you have to say
that's why I also say this man is a very strong man, because even in sickness, he came out victorious. Tell you how tough this man is. Okay, but yeah, there was some jabs happened. Okay, when he was making his speech, he came out to say that PDP will cry. In fact, the speech was just about PDP and PDP, a section of the speech. So he was like, the PDP will cry. They will cry. Do you know what PDP replied him with? In fact, they replied APC that that they should accept their sympathy. Accept their sympathy? Because of what? Because that the APC selected, in quote, a sick person to represent them. Wow. It is well, my brother. Okay. It's their choice, so we will have to respect their democratic rights, please.
Okay. All right, Mr. Victor, thank you so much for your time on the show.
Thank you.
Today, really do appreciate you. And as for you who has been there watching us, who has been faithful to your screen, thank you so much. We really do appreciate your faithfulness. Without you, we would not be here. But unfortunately, this is where we have to call it a wrap on today's segment of the newspaper review right here on TAF TV. Please don't forget that you can also be a part of this discussion. You have any suggestions to make or any questions, you can drop your suggestions or questions in the comment section of any of our social media platforms. Please do well to follow us and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We are TAF TV. On Instagram, we are TAF TV_NG. On Facebook, we are TAF TV. And on Twitter, we are TAF TV. This is where we have to call it a wrap once again. My name remains Cyril Aloysius. And until we come your way again next time, do have a wonderful and a blessed day. Bye-bye.